So let's start by bringing Alex on. Alex, welcome to the show.
Hi, Michael. Thanks for having me.
All right, I'm glad that you're here. All right, Alex, give us a brief background on you, and then let's get into these topics because, you're right at the forefront of innovation when it comes to what the next economic trend is moving forward. We talk about it here all the time, but never from your perspective, never from a legal perspective.
So, as you said, my name is Alex Nguyen, and I'm an associate at JPF Securities Law, and we're a small boutique firm with offices in Boston and Dallas, specializing in corporate and securities law with a particular focus on financial technology like crowdfunding and blockchain, as well as early stage, growth stage, and public companies that are subject to stringent regulations. So I've spent my past for about a year and a half, 2 years, where I co-founded an enterprise gamification startup, used video game mechanics and design to make enterprise software in a workplace more engaging for employees and managers in sales and training. So hence why I've kept abreast of a lot of the technological trends, and now I've applied my startup experience to law practice in the legal industry in general.
Talk to me about the inefficiencies in your classic law firm relative to what JPF Securities is doing to streamline the whole process.
So I feel like there's a lack of technological infrastructure. So most law firms are kind of inundated in traditional ways, not necessarily bad, but there's a kind of disconnect because many lawyers haven't started up their own business. They haven't kept up with technological trends. And then it's also difficult to implement and change management. That's a separate story. But changing an entire culture through technology and, attempting to get employees and managers to adopt certain technologies that would ultimately make work more efficient is extremely difficult in how the current legal landscape works in terms of law firms.
Okay, let me jump in here. You're saying that most law firms out there really aren't adept at what's going on and being able to use the new technical advances in order to streamline the entire process of what it is they do for a living, let alone the communication and the billing process. Is that what I'm hearing? Yes? No?
Yes.
All right. Let me move on. Blockchain, the issues that people face day to day about it, using it, and then also fundraising and ICOs. Talk to me about those.
So a lot of especially if you're going to kind of facilitate a remote workforce, which is a burgeoning trend, this theory called the digital nomad, which allows highly skilled talent, founders, entrepreneurs to work, live, and run businesses anywhere in the world. So a lot of the issues in terms of that they're currently facing, employers and companies who hire them or contract them experience are kind of bottlenecks in digital payments. So high transfer fees. If you're offshoring or outsourcing in China, you're going to be experiencing high transfer fees, potential currency conversion fluctuations from different fiat currencies, and then also the time it takes to transfer funds from one bank account from one country to another country bank account.
Okay.
And then also in terms of fundraising, so if you're an international founder or even if you're an American founder living abroad, it's difficult to fundraise as well because of all the kind of inefficiencies that exist as fundraising exists today. So, you have to go on your roadshow, acquire capital, deal with all the documentation and accreditation, depending on what kind of offering you're doing, and then also placing all those funds acquired into escrow and then waiting in order to transfer the funds in escrow to the ultimate operating account. And that takes a lot of time too. However, via the blockchain, one can conduct an ICO and raise funds at a fraction of the price in a fraction of the time.
Give me an idea what that means, fraction of the price. I want to do an ICO for my company. How much?
if you want to conduct an ICO, it could essentially be free. Well, the regulations are catching up right now and pretty fast, more or faster than most anticipated. So holding the regulations as they exist right now, the price could essentially be free.
Really? No,
Yes.
you're not free. So it's
Pardon?
got to be some kind of a ballpark, arrangement. I had a guy that I
Oh,
know, Mike, and he's like,
we're-
"Hey, I spent $250,000 to do an ICO." I'm like, "Okay, that's what he spent." So there's got to be a
Sure.
range, because
So
it's like how much is a
that's
car? Well, there's a Mercedes, there's a Rolls Royce, and there's a Volkswagen.
right. So it's kind of a case by case analysis with respect to that because it depends on the complexity. So if you're doing something along the lines of a private placement using a private token sale, so you're only selling your tokens, your ERC20 tokens to accredited investors and you have the right checks and balances in place and it's limited to only that, it might be 10 to 15,000.
Okay.
If you're doing something that's a public offering and you require more registrations, and this is securities and not purely utility tokens. Utility tokens, by definition, are not securities. But if you're actually fundraising security, offering securities, then that could range as high as 30 to 50,000. So it's still relatively inexpensive.
Talk to me about smart contracts. There's a lot of people that they throw that word around. They say it and they say it like they act like they know what it really is. Tell the audience, the people that don't know what it is and have heard it, what is a smart contract?
So it's pretty much code that code that you can build websites with, back-end systems with, that you code a set of criteria that must be met in order for a transaction to occur. So say Billy contracts with Carl to transact goods. Whenever a certain set of criteria is met, and this is all encoded, so it's pretty much automated. Once all those criteria are met, then funds transfer from Bob to Carl because Carl satisfied those set of variables, criteria, factors.
So it's almost like a modern merchant account buy now button.
Right, except automated and pre-coded, such that this transaction occurs automatically when the blockchain reads that particular information.
Got it. Hey, Alex, we got to run. That's all time we have. You've been a great guest. Thank you. Tell the audience how to reach out to you if they want to know more about the topics we just spoke about today.
So you can reach out to us at jpfsecurities.com and visit our website, check out our blog, and you can also email us at info@jpfsecurities.com.
Great. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You've been listening to Alex Nguyen, Associate of JPF Securities, segment brought to you by JPF Securities. This is CEO Money with Michael Yorba and Ed Baxter. We'll be right back with the Private Equity Spotlight and Ed Baxter.